The Random Jottings of Donald J. from Nelson in Pendle. John Dawson Location Bashall Eaves, Fields and Hedgerows in area haunting manifestation shot in the back in 1934 by an unknown party. John Dawson's ghost now looks for evidence around the village that could help identify the killer. The small village of Bashall Eaves was nestled amidst lush green fields and winding hedgerows. It was a place of tranquillity and charm, but it harbored a secret that had lingered for decades. The ghostly apparition of John Dawson, a man shot in the back in 1934, haunted the village, driven by an insatiable desire for justice. The details surrounding John Dawson's murder remain shrouded in mystery. His life was abruptly taken away, and his killer remained unidentified. The villagers spoke in hushed whispers, sharing stories of his ghostly presence wandering through the village at night, searching for clues that could unmask the person responsible for his untimely demise. As the years passed, the legend of John Dawson's ghost grew stronger, captivating the imagination of the villagers. Some were frightened, locking their doors tightly at night, while others felt a sense of curiosity and compassion for the lost soul that wandered their streets. They wondered what they could do to assist him in finding the closure he sought. It was on a misty autumn evening when young Emily Parker, a resident of Bashall Eaves, stumbled upon an old, dusty journal in her family's attic. Intrigued, she brushed away the cobwebs and opened its delicate pages. The journal belonged to a previous resident, and within its faded lines, she discovered a cryptic entry that seemed connected to the ghostly apparition haunting their village. The entry spoke of a secret meeting that had taken place on the outskirts of the village on the fateful night of John Dawson's murder. The writer, whose name was withheld, had witnessed the crime unfold before their eyes. Fearful for their own safety, they had chosen to remain silent. However, their guilt had consumed them, leading them to pen down the truth within the pages of the journal. Determined to bring justice to John Dawson's restless spirit, Emily shared her findings with the village elders. Together, they decided it was time to confront the past and find closure for both the ghostly presence and the village itself. A public meeting was organized, inviting anyone who had information or suspicions about the murder to come forward. It was a somber evening, as villagers gathered, their faces etched with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The air crackled with an energy born of uncertainty and the hope that truth would prevail. As the meeting progressed, villagers began to share their stories, piecing together fragments of memories and suspicions that had lingered for years. Slowly, a collective realization began to take shape, and the threads of truth unraveled before their eyes. A frail old man named Henry, who had kept his silence for decades, rose from his seat. Tears streamed down his weathered face as he confessed his part in the conspiracy of silence. He had witnessed the murder that fateful night but had chosen to protect himself rather than seek justice for John Dawson. The revelation sent shockwaves through the room, and a heavy silence hung in the air. The villagers looked upon Henry with a mix of sympathy and disappointment, recognizing the weight of his confession and the role it played in denying John Dawson his peace. United in their determination, the villagers rallied around the old man, offering forgiveness and understanding. They understood that the truth had the power to heal old wounds and bring closure to a haunting that had gripped their village for far too long. With newfound courage, Henry led the villagers to the very spot where John Dawson had lost his life. They stood together, facing the darkness that had shrouded their village for decades. And in that moment, the ghostly apparition of John Dawson appeared before them, his ethereal form slowly dissipating, as if finally finding solace. As the ghost vanished into the night, a sense of relief washed over the village. The burden of the unsolved murder had been lifted, and they could finally move forward, no longer haunted by the spectre of the past. John Dawson's story became a part of Bashall Eaves' history, a reminder of the importance of seeking truth and justice, even when it seemed impossible. The village healed, and the fields and hedgerows once again echoed with laughter and the simple joys of life. And though the memory of John Dawson remained, it was no longer a haunting manifestation, but a symbol of a community's resilience and the power of unity in the face of darkness. By Donald J.